Do you want to gain actionable insights into how to elevate your product strategy, enhance user experiences, and optimize your automation processes? Whether you are a founder looking to scale, a UX designer aiming to refine your craft, or a marketer seeking a boost engagement, this episode of Founders Podcast will fill you in with practical tips and strategies to apply directly to your own project. Today, we are thrilled to welcome Jane Partman to the Founders Podcast. Jane is a seasoned entrepreneur, former UI UX consultant, and a brilliant mind behind the UI Breakfast brand. She is the co founder of UserList, a powerful tool for marketing and email automation that's making waves in the SaaS world. In addition to being a mom of three, Jane hosts two popular podcasts, UI Breakfast and Better Done Than Perfect, where she shares her insights on design, product strategy, and the realities of running a business. Welcome to another episode of our Founders Podcast. I'm your host, Ash, and this is a show where I interview proven founders and industry experts who share their stories, strategies, and insights to help you build, launch, and grow your business. So I hope you enjoy this show. Jane, welcome to the show.
Hi, Ash. Thank you for the warm introduction. Make it sound maybe even better than it is.
Great. Do you have a favorite quote, something that inspires or motivates you that you would like to share with our audience?
A goal. Well, building something beautiful that helps
Mhm.
people is like an overarching theme of what I'm trying to do in life. So, as a designer, I don't like, you know, all kinds of glitter and sparkles and decorations, but I'm really, really, really loving something that's both functional and nice looking. That's like what is heart of my building products. And yes, these days we are on an email marketing mission that helps SaaS founders. That's a more narrow description.
Perfect. And I couldn't agree more because I always emphasize whenever I'm helping my mentees about, you know, you can make the best product in the world, but if it is not user friendly, then it's not acceptable by a lot of people. So yeah, sorry. So tell us about userless. What does the product do? Who is it for? And what's the main problem you're helping to solve?
So, Userlist is an email automation platform that is another one in the red ocean of email marketing platforms out there. We serve exclusively SaaS products, so that allows us to provide a very targeted solution that helps them send very powerful behavior based email to their customers. So, think of things that you cannot do in MailChimp, you can do in Userlist, which is accepting incoming rich behavior data, processing it, segmenting customers, sending behavior based campaigns. And we take great pride in how we do this.
Mhm.
We provide frameworks and a lot of hand holding to our customers. So not only we provide very nice looking software that actually gets the job done, but we also make sure they implement it correctly. If I can make an analogy, we're selling bricks, but you need to build a house. So we also provide you with blueprints and things that you can do to build that house and make sure it actually converts your free trials to paying customers and things like that. Other business goals you have as a SaaS business.
Got it. Got it. So basically, it's not just an email marketing or email automation platform, but it's also hand-holding the customers throughout their entrepreneurial journey where they want to achieve either generating more leads or engage with their customers or, more collaboration and making them feel like in a relationship with them.
That's right.
Great, great. So let's talk about where the story began. Where did the idea for UserLit came from?
Let's go back in time to 2017.
Hmm.
I had my first SaaS product running, but not really making any good step forward. And my developer for hire was Benedict, who is now my CTO and co-founder in this very thing. So
Hmm.
that product, a little productivity tool, didn't go anywhere, and there was a tool obviously lacking in the market that would allow me to see who my users are, what they're doing, and send a relevant behavior based stuff to them. Well, there were some tools, but they were enterprise grade, not pretty, not awesome, and definitely not affordable for me as a small SaaS founder. So when that product didn't go very far, ended up being sold, I invited Benedict on board to be my co founder and try and build a thing that would solve the problem together. We had zero clue how
Mm-hmm.
many challenges we will face along the way and just how challenging it is to make people switch platforms. And the funniest thing, we never set out to be an email marketing provider. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that was not what we wanted. We wanted to have a more holistic product serving people exclusively after they become your customer. So only that phase, only customer messaging, customer relationships, and things like that. But we learned that people need all their email in one place, and it just so happens that it's easier to sell something in an existing category, such
Mm-hmm.
as an email marketing platform, even though there is millions out there and it's a very crowded market. It's still easier to exist in a category. So that's where we are these days. It's just
Mm-hmm.
that we bring our special sauce to the table and we niche, really, really niche down on SaaS companies, growing SaaS companies.
Got it. And so you mentioned that you started with a different idea, like a holistic view, and then you pivoted to the like a email marketing automation side of it. What was the clues or what was the conversation you were having with your customer or potential customers at that point of time, which triggered you to pivot to this side of it? Like I understand that there is like market and easy to sell, but there must have been some kind of triggers there where you must have, oh, I have spoken with this customer and he is looking for this and that, or most of our customers or leads coming in, they're asking for this kind of solution. But what was happening that time? Mhm.
The product journey itself has never really pivoted. We were just evolutionarily growing, nurturing up the platform, adding new features. But a couple, maybe 2, 3 years in, we were considering what to build next, what the next big feature should be. So we did another round of interviews, probably 25 or so, with
Mhm.
non customers. And we did a jobs to be done style. We just wanted to learn in the sphere of email and messaging, like what bothers them in general. And the phrase we heard more than once in the same exact language was, I want all my email in one place. So it became obvious that we really didn't want to add like traditional email list building things because it also meant that we have to do identity resolution work, like what happens if someone becomes a customer, how do we merge or not merge the records and things like that.
Mhm.
And but it was obvious that the technical challenge is worth going through. So
Mhm.
we added marketing email to the mix, which meant identity resolution work, and also we introduced forms for building your marketing email list. If you want to do
Mhm.
like lead magnets and such, you can do that with UserList. And that's how it took off, and we were able to classify ourselves as a traditional ASP. That kind of clarity just appeared and helped us sell it better.
Got it, got it. And then, when you had this, not like epiphany, but like it was a gradual process for you, but did you looked into the market? I'm sure there was, as you mentioned, there were tons of other products and services, right, in the same space. What was going on at that time, and what did you see from your research that encouraged you to move ahead with this particular direction?
It's very hard to watch the competitors, and also it's not like you have enlightenment what exactly to do with this information because things are moving, competitors continuously launching new features. When we started, our most popular competitor was Custom.io, who is like, I don't know, 5, 7, 10 years older than us. And since then, a few more companies have emerged. For example, the cool YC funded Loops appeared, which now feels to be, it feels like they have a wonderful free plan. So they claimed to be like an easy solution. And by the time we started, we knew it's not an easy thing to automate. Like there is no simple way to do automation because automation is just hard by nature. And the more you offer, the more people want. There's never enough features and things that people want to do. It's just such it's an endless well of feature requests and such. So we were kind of curiously watching loops appear, for example, and other things like that. So right now we're not the only one solution offering email automation to SaaS, but we're definitely one of the most promising ones. And also our pricing does not allow for super early stage startup to enter. You will see that our price plans start at 149. This is not a bootstrapper friendly price tag, even though we do offer 50% off for bootstrap startups for the first year. There is a program in place. It's still not the phase where you would go in and dedicate resources to build your email marketing program. It's just not what first day startups do, 0-day startups do. And we learned that the hard way. Sure, we know that like the pricing may be prohibitive for those businesses, but also it's not like they will be successful yet. It's just they don't have time and energy to invest into their email program. That's what we learned.
Got it. Got it. So that's I think that gave you enough space to understand. Okay, like it is a red ocean space, but there is a particular niche where you can grow and create much better features for your customers, and that's how you got started. And I want to get deep into that. I want to understand more about the business and everything. But before we go into that, would you be able to share, like, are you guys fully bootstrap, or you have received any investment? How is it going on right now?
Sure, we are not VC funded, but we are not fully bootstrapped. We got a little bit of funding from Tiny Seed in 2020, specifically in March 2020, when the world was like going down with the
Yeah.
pandemic. We were signing the papers and we're like, please, hope the check comes through because this is our salaries and our next couple years.
Yeah.
And so that went through. And then 1 year later, in 2021, we raised another round from 22 angel investors. So that fueled the next couple years, allowed us to hire more engineers. And then since then, we've been just reinvesting revenue and we're roughly profitable these days.
Got it. Got it. And can you give us a sense of size of the business? Where are you in terms of
Sure.
number of customers,
It's
size of
not
team?
huge. I wouldn't say we're in the hundreds kind of scale of customer, and we're just a team of 6. So we're a small, humble business, but things are looking optimistic. So it's definitely working, but in a slow and steady manner because
Yeah.
it's never fast to get some switch providers. And like I said, grasping people at day zero is not an option for us. We could
Yeah. Yeah.
potentially go in and like get the free plan in place, but that obviously as a mentor, you know, like that's opening floodgates for support and other things. So it's
Definitely.
dangerous.
Yeah.
Therefore, we prefer the slow and sustainable path of growth.
Yeah, yeah, and we have to decide ourselves what is good for a startup, because it's your baby, so you have to make sure that you provide and grow it wisely. So before we get into the second part of the interview, where I would like to deep dive into, like, what are the strategies you guys are using into, like, generating leads, etc. uh, I would like to learn more about a yourself. I'm eager to learn more about the person behind this venture. Can you take us back to your root, share with our listeners about your maybe childhood or some inspirations you have got? How did your early experiences share your journey and eventually led you to become an entrepreneur?
I would say there are like 3 seasons in my life that I've
Hmm.
gone through. So first season was through school years, college years, and growing up as a designer, and not so much online, but more like freelancing in my hometown and going to college. And eventually, throughout those years, I stayed as a designer in one of the agencies. And by the age of 25, I was a creative director and sitting at home with my first child on maternity leave. and I really didn't want to go back to agency work. So I decided I'm gonna go online, try and freelance. Basically, my English was in place, so I was a good designer. I knew
Mhm.
English, and I just had to figure out the rest, and I did. Throughout the next 10 years or so, built online authority, wrote a few books, started podcasts. So did all kinds of things to become a prolific consultant. I decided that the proper name for this is consulting, started to do high check, and since the basic skills were in place, it was kind of a cool journey. So that's when I learned marketing in my own sandbox. And since I worked a ton with SaaS founders, becoming one was my dream.
Mhm.
And so I did. The first product didn't go anywhere, but that's how I met my co-founder.
Mhm.
And these days, we're working on UserList since 2017. That's going on 7 years. So
Mhm.
learned a ton. And also,
Yeah.
just a funny revelation. I'm still a designer at heart, but if you think about this, I spent the first period of life learning to design, the second period kind of learning to write. I really learned that writing is so crucial to
Mm.
design success. It's not obvious, but it's true. And the last 7 years, all I'm doing is talking to people and
Mhm.
doing marketing and sales. So I guess I'm learning to speak kind of these days, if that
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
sense,
yeah.
in sales
Every end.
calls. So there's
Yeah.
never a never ending journey to you know learning new
For learning.
skills and just like
Yeah.
learning, endless learning. And I think startup journey is the best possible environment to learn all kinds of things, and I'm
Indeed.
happy to
Indeed.
be here.
It's much better than having a MBA degree from a MBA college or university, right? Because you learn things doing, making mistake, failing fast, factoring in what are the things you could do in order to refactor things and make it more valuable. Great stuff. So let's jump into. So you mentioned that your pricing is quite heavy. So let's talk about your ICP. Who is your ICP? Ideal
I
customer
would say
persona.
it's a growing SaaS company.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say number of years. It's not day zero, probably a couple years in. Usually, when a startup launches, they're super busy getting their first customers, onboarding them, talking to them, high touch, and they probably run a new. If they're good at marketing, they probably run a newsletter in something in a simple tool, and they have a simple onboarding flow, and that's enough for the first few years. And then when you're ready to take things to the next level, and you want to implement a more exciting onboarding program, for example, and you start running into limitations, that's when you realize they're actually interesting tools for this, such as UserList.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully you will Google SaaS email marketing automation and will find our amazing content. And that's how you will learn that UserList exists. And then we get in touch, and the sales process and adoption begins. That's the
Awesome,
journey.
awesome.
So yeah,
Um,
it's a growing SaaS company that's going to V2 of their email marketing.
Got it. Got it. And I'm glad that you mentioned about the content. So tell us our listeners about what are the different strategies you currently using, which brings in your ICPs into your funnel, basically, and
It's
yeah, and how are you like maturing them? What are the processes in place? What are the challenges you're facing doing that?
it's content. I will
Mm-hmm.
be short. SEO is our number one channel. Fingers crossed. I hope it stays. For the first few years, we neglected this altogether. We only published like a few founder journey kind of articles. And then it always felt prohibitive because SaaS email automation has just a gazillion keywords. You can speak about the same thing using different words. And it just never clicked with us how you can find patterns and make content that would actually and the search volume on each is not super high, and for those that are high, you get competition through the roof. So we were just not doing anything, but then we embarked on this journey probably 3 or 4 years ago. Started, hired a consultant, Pavel, amazing, highly recommend him, Pavel Grabowski. He analyzed what we do, and also he works with SaaS companies as well. So he was actually able to comprehend our subject matter, which not all marketers do. So he built a huge content plan for us. We started working through the main keywords for like high intent type of topics. And that took us a couple years to cover most of them. And then we slowed down and started doing things that are interesting, also interesting for humans. So throughout all of this, we really increased the quality of the content and slowed down on speed. So right now we're only like publishing one article per month and updating some existing ones, which obviously is not a lot, but we are more like an ongoing expert publication than continuous like flywheel of low quality AI generated stuff. We take pride in our content items. Maybe it's kind of old fashioned. I don't know. Because the field for programmatic SEO, like high volume SEO, it's really like greenfield these days. We don't do that. It's just our philosophy between me and Benedict, my co founder, that there's enough terabytes in the world to, keep the pots boiling. We don't need to add bytes of data to just, hack the system. We really want to put up something meaningful. So if we invest money, we hope that we'd better put up like meaningful, helpful things versus trying to just like put up some blabber for the search engine. Therefore, and it also is exciting because people like it very much. So people find us through Google using those high intent keywords and other keywords. One format we love is email examples. Combined with the label SaaS, we try to find use cases for email examples that are indicative that the business is SaaS. For the context, email marketing is a huge industry dominated by e-commerce. So SaaS email marketing is thankfully smaller. It's a little bit easier to be a leader there, and it's extremely complex. So all content you can find is kind of very high level, like guide your users to the aha moment kind of fluff. Sure, I can tell you that, like you wake me up in the middle of the night. That's not the sauce. The secret sauce is the execution details. And you only get there if you work with the same SaaS folks for ages and you see exactly where they struggle and exactly how they can implement. So our strategy is a combination of those like editorial email examples that we put out, plus a few times a year we publish fundamental guides on like really, really extensive pieces on how exactly to do certain narrow things,
Got
which
it.
we're proud of this. Like, I'm not sure, maybe we could add another 100 articles, but at least like this, what we have is really, really useful for folks.
What sort of structure do you use? Because is it lot of people, and I really like when you mentioned that we don't use AI for that, and I support it because I know how frustrating it is if I'm searching for something and I click on the link and I go and then I read a blur which was I could have asked an AI also, right? I wouldn't like more meat on the page, like more helpful. I don't know, images, maybe a video of walkthrough of a software or something, a problem which is somebody's explaining in the video or something like that. What is the structure you guys use, and how much investment do you do in creating these contents? Like do you have like a full-time person who does that for you, or it's like something you do it personally and then you take like a week to do it? How does it work?
Such great questions all around. So it took us a while to figure out what great content means. And honestly, AI is not to blame. It existed ages before AI. You just like would you find a writer who is out of the team, does not know much about the industry, and they just write words. That has existed for ages, right? And that's a
Yeah.
cheap writer. Come on, like it's the same problem. It's just multiplied by AI superpowers now.
Yeah.
So for the example posts, we have our customer advocate, Katerina, who hangs out in communities. And we talk to people to source those examples, and also we collect them ourselves.
Mhm.
So we ask people to give us examples on some topics, and we credit them back with backlinks. That sort of like Haro process, just very niche with the folks in email communities and SaaS communities. So that's how we collect the meat, what you call the material, because
Mhm.
advice is a dime a dozen. The
Mhm.
fun part is the examples and like specific things. For the actionable guides, these stem from our customer work, and I'm sort of leading that direction, doing, for example, onboarding calls with our customers, working them closely during done for you projects on strategy. You see one by one different examples of SaaS companies and the challenges they face and how exactly we step by step solve them. So that is the most interesting material, and that's what we use as a baseline, as inspiration for like the big guides, industry guides.
Got it. So it's sort of like use cases or case studies you create when you are hired by companies to do the job for them, like automating their whole workflow, something like that. And then
Yep.
while you're teaching them or maybe doing it for them, you take this opportunity and then you convert this content which you're creating for them as a universal content for the wider audience, obviously hiding all the sensitive information or anything related to
Yep.
a particular client.
A bright example, if I can say, it doesn't mean that we publish like here's a case study by company X. We don't do that. We use it a little bit in a different way. For example, last year we added professional services and we started offering done for you stuff. So we had a number of those projects, and the patterns emerged on how exactly we develop that content for folks with real businesses. And we made a framework based on that, based on our own processes. It's called Atomic Emails, and put it up as a giant article with step-by-step guide and 3 examples with actual like storyboards and campaign content that we put out. So it's not like we just put up a case study. It's more like this work fed into a methodology, which we call a
Mhm.
framework, and our customers can now apply when they need to actually write their emails. And if you have 20 minutes, I can dive into the method itself, but our listeners can probably just go to the article page and read it through themselves.
No, definitely, and I would love to have another opportunity to deep down into, because I'm myself an advocate for better user experience for users, especially when it comes to softwares. So you mentioned that you have this done for you kind of services available. Would you be able to share, or can you share a compelling case study or an incident that highlights how a company leverage user-less solution to achieve the success and solve their key business challenges? And I would like to love to hear about the specific problem they were facing and the steps taken to implement your SaaS solution, and then the measurable outcome they experience as a result.
So, email automation is pretty boring in terms of outcomes, even though, admittedly, we're more working right now on some new methods for measuring the ROI because it's kind of challenging.
Mhm.
The biggest challenges founders have is having zero email in place and not knowing where to start because they need to find like an automation consultant, a content strategist, and just make it all work together, investing thousands of dollars in this, and they just don't even know where to start looking for these people. And we provide the platform, the automation strategy, and the content in one place. So
Mhm.
it's not about the numbers that the business achieved with the email. It's more that they are now enabled to do this and that they
Mhm.
have their key campaigns in place, such as user onboarding and beyond. And now from here, they can keep adding new ideas on their own. So it's basically unlocking the direction for the companies where we see founders' eyes like light up and they'd be really happy.
Got it. Got it. Um, if somebody comes to you, let's say someone like a teen who doesn't understand the whole industry, but that person has a small website where he has a million user coming, right? Just an hypothetical example. How do you explain, or or maybe I should ask this question in a different way. What is the fundamental differentiator of user from any other platform? For example, Aweber or Mailchimp, you already mentioned. What is it that makes you different than other providers?
Well, if we had that exclusive answer to your question, we'd probably be rich driving a Lamborghini somewhere in Italy by now. Um, the current version of this answer is that we work exclusively with SaaS companies, which really
Mhm.
narrows down the focus, which means in reality that we can we can accept incoming data and process it in a very, very rich and advanced way, in the same level as Marketo can do or Braze. But those platforms are going to make you die when you try to use them and integrate them and pay for them. This is a way more affordable solution. And the tool is built by experts in UX and programming. So it's really taking that exact feature set you need and making it in the most human friendly way. Even though when you read the positioning book, they always say that like the product is simple and beautiful. This is not a benefit. But it is. So
It is.
that's like one thing we don't have to explain. And the selling proposition we use it at the moment is the narrow focus on SaaS and the fact that we also really care about how you implement. So you can expect tons of help, frameworks, onboarding, handholding, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Even though
yeah.
our friends say like we're kind of playing with the done for you. Basically, we're still a SaaS company. We're not a services company, but we're doing a lot from the service. So they're like, you're just like playing and uh, experimenting and like tapping the water, like go all in. And we don't want to go all in. We just a company that really cares, but still sells software. We don't want to make services our primary direction, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, I totally agree. And I actually don't agree with people who say that you can't disrupt the industry just based on design, because you can. I mean, the biggest example is when we were tiny, there used to be this social network called Orkut. I don't know if you've heard about them. It
I
was
think they're
really, really famous.
it,
It was owned by Google. Yeah. And then it comes when the Facebook arrived, Facebook understood that very well, what was the need of the moment. I mean, Orkut had a lot of features in them, which I still miss in Facebook, because, Orkut used to tell you who visited your profile. Like if somebody is sneaking on you, or looking at what your pictures are, you know that this person is doing, which Facebook doesn't. But Facebook disrupted the whole social media space by giving the users what they were wanting that time, which was the wall. The wall was the breakthrough. They disrupted the whole social media with the design, right? So that's why I keep giving this example to the people who say, you can't disrupt an industry with design. You can definitely disrupt it. I mean, there is an element of design disruption in Airbnb also, although they changed the business model as base for hiring or renting the rooms. But then there was an element of design also, because there was nobody in the industry who were giving you this opportunity to look for the available um, accommodations on a map at that point of time, right? And then everybody adopted that design disruption later on.
I love good like entrepreneur porn. I'm sorry for saying this, but like these disruption cases are like 3 in a million, and the
Yeah,
rest of us just ship great products, like
yeah,
great products, not so much disruptive as just like really fitting the case and getting the job done. So I would love to be able to say that we disrupted something in a couple years. At the moment, we're just getting thing out there and helping customers implement that one by one, like slow and steady kind of angle.
Definitely, definitely. Great stuff. So, Jan, I'm really enjoying this conversation, but we are limited of time. Before going towards our end of the interview, I would like to know more about if you get a chance or an investor reach out, would you be interested in investment into the, or are you looking for any kind of investment into the business right now? And if yes, what are the plans for the future?
At the moment, we're not actively looking for investment for sure,
Hmm.
but that doesn't mean that we are not discussing any incoming things. So we're
Hmm.
kind of just like passively open, but
Hmm.
definitely not actively looking for.
Not actively looking.
Yeah, it's a lot of, as always, it's a tough choice. Thankfully, we have a choice between our own sustainable growth and like pouring some VC money on on this fire. So yeah, still up for discussion.
Yeah, and I love entrepreneurs and founders who do it, bootstrap, just like you guys did since from the starting, because it helps understanding the market, and then you need to do everything in the small budget, which actually, you know, pushes the entrepreneurs to think out of the box and figure out this strategy. So that's what I like when I meet with people who bootstrap their startups. So, Jay, throughout your journey and experience, there must have been some valuable lessons learned. Like, if you don't mind sharing, could you reflect on your experience and tell us about one mistake or a setback that you encountered along the way, that you now not consider as a regret, but like a lesson learned? And additionally, what advice would you give our listeners based on that experience?
Start with SEO earlier.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's one. Well, doesn't need detailed comment on this.
Yeah.
So yeah, that probably is number one lesson. Yeah, there's been just so many lessons. I cannot count all of them. But overarching takeaway from the last 7 years is
Mhm.
that it just takes so much work, and you should not, it does not take like 2 years to get something off the ground.
Yeah.
If you do, like that's probably a case for a couple unicorns, but no, generally speaking, it takes years just to get the thing out there and grow, and you need to be persistent. It's not like dabbling here and there. It's really investing your effort, that it will work, but it will take time. So it's not like half of your effort or like hypothetical effort or something. So it will take time. Put your head down, get some work, and yeah, and keep doing the work, keep showing up.
Keep doing the. Great, great. Got it, got it. Okay, great. We should wrap up now. We're going to go into our lightning round. I've got 6 quick fire questions for you, so you can answer them as quickly as possible.
I
You
don't know
ready?
what they are. Yeah, I'm surprised. I want to be surprised.
Great. Okay, what are the top 3 strategies to generate leads in 2024?
SEO. I don't know. Top three. It's hard. I don't see cold email working for sure.
Mhm.
So SEO as a supporting strategy. Run a good email list. That definitely helps, and the cost of that is comparably low.
Mhm.
Obviously, there is no other big channel I believe in. Oh, yeah, please do make some take some unfair advantages, tap into some internal like app marketplace
Mhm.
ecosystem you can find.
Mhm.
That's probably, even if you can do that, that's number one, and the
Mhm.
other are two for the mere mortals.
Got it. I mean, one of our guests in
Yeah.
previous episodes, he mentioned that his startup went from 0 to 10K MRR just by listing his app on these no code tools like Bubble and
Yep,
these
yep,
kind of tools.
tapping into
So
marketplaces, yes,
yeah, he
smaller
went
ones.
there. Yeah, he went there, and then he learned how to code with the no code platforms, and then he listed himself like a pro, and boom, he's like, converting it. So that was a good one. Great. Question number two: what book would you recommend to our audience and why?
I love Nassim Taleb's Anti-Fragile book.
Hmm.
It's not like a specific tactic book for SaaS, but it's great for mindset. It actually teaches you some new stuff. I love the idea. First, the concept of anti-fragile is something that gets stronger the more you bid it up. Not just resilient, but actually improves. Software is a great example. And I love his example of the barbell strategy where you really secure your bases and then take high risks on the other end because you cannot have great gains without taking high risks. So these are a couple takeaways from that book.
Good. What one attribute or characteristic in your mind of a successful founder?
Persistence,
Yeah.
persistence, perseverance,
Always perseverance,
patience,
persistence.
all
Yeah.
three P's.
Yeah. Great stuff. What's your favorite personal productivity tool or habit?
Writing up a document for and then getting an expert consult. It's a combination. So when I need to learn something about the new direction, I look for the best person to have a chat with, paid
Mm-hmm.
mentor, accelerator mentor, some sort of mentor, guru, and do a prep doc before meeting with them so that I really outline the context of the current situation and do my homework. The combination of these really helps.
Got it. What's a new or a crazy business idea you would love to pursue if you had time?
There's a bunch of directions. I
Uh-huh.
can see if we had unlimited engineering resources, I'd love to build like satellite products for userlist because the thing is we do have behavior data and the recurring theme is I have all this data, but I want to see analytics, I want to see this, I want to see onboarding tours. So like it would be so gorgeous to have an all-in-one platform like Intercom and the likes. That would be an ambitious plan. Yes.
Got it. Got it. Lots of sub satellite products around user
Yeah.
list. Then
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. And last but not least, what's an interesting or a fun fact about you that most people don't know?
Most people don't know what most people don't know. I really, really do not talk about my family life ever because I don't know, it just feels like space for work. So I try to build my identity around like work all the time. So just the fact that I have a lot of kids is one, but also, I mean, we do have a lot of help at home who helping us with the kids. So I'm not like a real stay-at-home mom. It's kind of a interesting situation I'm in, sitting on two chairs, and I really, don't get to talk about that much. But
Huh?
there's like a whole part of me that's like doing home stuff, sort of.
Got it. Got it. Okay, great. So, well, Jane, thank you so much for joining me and sharing your story and packing last few years on building the business and some of the ups and downs. If people want to check out user list, if people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do it?
Sure, you can find me on LinkedIn and a little bit on Twitter, kind of oscillating between those. My personal website is uibreakfast.com. You can find my good old design podcast called UI Breakfast there. And of course, userlist.com. If you are ready to take your email marketing to the next level, come to us. We will help you, handhold you, and you will feel loved.
Perfect. Perfect. Jane, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your inspiring journey and the impactful work you're doing through User List. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on Founders Podcast.
Great pleasure sharing today. Thank you so much for the great conversation.
Thank you all for tuning into this episode of Founders Podcast. I hope you found our conversation with Jane insightful and inspiring. Don't forget to connect with her on LinkedIn and Twitter and make sure to check out User List because one day your startup will grow and you will need some automation there. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe to our podcast and stay updated on future interviews with proven founders and industry experts. Stay inspired, stay motivated, and keep building.